Hi friends! Today we're talking about 3 simple ways that you can reestablish your routines and procedures for your literacy stations. Now, I know you probably do this a lot at the beginning of the year, but it's just as important to do it in the middle of the year as it is at the beginning. And if you lay down a solid foundation for your stations at the beginning of the year, then this should be a very quick process for you. Your first step is to talk about what it means to work collaboratively in your stations. Now, this is a rule that our school has set up is to work collaboratively. And what does that mean? It means that we are working together in our stations, that we're speaking kindly to one another and giving positive feedback, that we can share, and that we can also take turns. So, one of my favorite ways to go over this with my students is to simply make an anchor chart. We made one at the beginning of the year, but we'll make a new one and just hang it over the old one. So I'll start with something very simple at the top, like I can work collaboratively in stations. And then I have students brainstorm ideas of what that looks like. Now, if you want to save time or if your students aren't brainstorming very good ideas, then you can use sentence stems and have them help you fill in the blanks. And if you want some extra buy-in, let them sign the bottom of the anchor chart as an agreement or a promise. Let them use your smelling markers because you know those are fun. And then you can always refer back to this and say, hey, do you remember when you promised that you were going to work well with so and so at their station? Or hey, do you remember that you promised you were going to give positive feedback and not say anything that would hurt someone? So this is just a very quick activity. I do it the first day back from a break, and it really kind of resets the tone for stations. It's not anything new, it's something all your students know, but sometimes they just need a little bit of a reminder. Now, step 2 is also very simple. You need to remind the students what they do if they need help. Now, I like to remind my students that the reason they're doing stations, independent stations, is so that I can be doing a guided reading group and helping people in their class learn how to read. And so if I'm going to be doing a guided reading group, they need to be able to figure out what to do if they need help on their own first. So, like many classrooms, I have the rule ask 3 people before me. And then if they still have problems, then they can come see me. I have a poster that says S3 before me. I've seen some teachers do really cool things with the push lights. If the light's going, then you cannot interrupt the table. But then also with this, you need to go back over what students should do if they need to go to the bathroom while you're with a guided reading table. I have boys and girls passes, and they just take the pass and put it on their desk. That way, when I'm done with my group, if I look up and I'm looking for a particular student and I can't find them, I can look on their desk and see the pass. So make sure you go over those simple things with your students, what you want them to do if they need help during your guided reading groups. And then the last one, step 3, is also very simple. You need to remind your students of what to do if they get finished with an activity before it's time for them to switch stations. Now, this doesn't happen as much at the beginning of the year, but towards the middle and end of the year, students like to zoom through and say, okay, I'm done. So I always like to have plenty of extra activities for them to do, and I re-explain these in the middle of the year. If you finish this pocket chart, then you can go and try this puzzle, or if you finish this game on your own, then you can partner up and do it with a partner. So make sure you're reminding your students of all the things that they can do when they finish an activity so they're not wasting time in their stations, because if they're wasting time or feel like they're done and don't have anything to do, that's usually when behavior problems occur. So I just very quickly go back over all the things they can do when they're finished with the station, but it's not quite time for them to switch station activities yet. So that's it. That's my 3 easy steps to reestablishing procedures and routines in your literacy stations. It won't take you too long, but I promise if you lay down this groundwork, coming back from a break is going to be so much easier and help your literacy stations and guided reading table run that much smoother.